Live with local comforts. Love community over commuting. Live in a home built by Glenvay. Love where you live. Glenvay, home of the new.
Welcome to Through the Front Door, brought to you by Glenveagh Homes. On this podcast, we'll be consulting a wide range of experts, from mortgage brokers and architects to interior designers and sustainability experts, who will be addressing those burning questions you've always wanted to know the answer to. On the podcast this week, I'm joined by Community Engagement Manager at Glenveagh, Annette McGarry.
We've done a number of initiatives. We've recently restarted our planting days, which has been really good fun. We've been out and about with local residents and getting the kids out planting on Saturday mornings and bringing along a coffee truck. And again, just getting that feedback from residents, seeing what they want to do and how we can help improve the community as well.
From their experience to mine, we'll be sure to cover all the bases to put you, the listener, on your way to finding your perfect home. Annette McGarry, how are you?
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you very much. Annette, thanks so much for joining us. And I was just sort of wondering how somebody who did a BA in German literature and language, and then you went to TU Dublin and did tourism. Tell me how the German literature and the tourism evolves to you becoming the community engagement manager.
You know what? I love speaking to people who are doing their Leaving Cert, and you can tell them how what your journey was and how you started off and where, you've ended up today. So variety, as to say, is the spice of life, for sure.
It's a game of snakes and ladders, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I did my degree in German literature and UCD. I suppose at the time, wasn't too sure what I was going to do. Took a year out after that, worked in a call center, got into tourism, got a little bit of marketing experience, decided to go down that route to continue my master's studies there in Carlbrew Street at the time, which is great.
Yeah.
So it was really, I suppose, a business management and marketing degree, but the focus was on the tourism sector. And from there, started with Ryanair, which was very much in its infancy.
I bet we could talk about a few people during Ryanair in its infancy. I can tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I had a terrific time there. Worked with a brilliant team in Stansted. We worked all over Europe, opening new bases, and I suppose, it was a really fun, almost 4 years there, I think. So. Really fun time, got really good background, I suppose, behind the scenes with, in the airlines and also in terms of sales, promotion, marketing. And then I worked across a variety of different jobs in Liverpool in the tourism industry around the time of Capital of Culture there, which is really up and coming time for the city and a great
I remember that.
time to be there. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
Again, a really vibrant workplace and a great team to work with there. And from there, I set up a consultancy business together with my husband, who's in the aviation sector. And I continued on my marketing work, got a number of clients in the tourism sector in the UK. And then we took the plunge last year and decided to move back to Ireland.
So you're already home?
Yeah, just a year. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
actually, I did notice. Yes, sorry. I think I did actually notice that, because this is a relatively recent appointment for you, isn't it?
Yes,
like 9 or 10 months.
A year. Yeah. It'll be here in June. So I had started a little bit of consultancy at the time with Glenveagh while we were in the UK. So working around their community engagement strategy, because it was a brand new area of the business, and so I helped to produce that strategy, and then they were looking for someone to deliver it. So hence the move.
You stuck up your love and said,
yes,
I'll do that.
Yes, indeed, because we had in the pipeline to move back home anyway. The kids were of the age and to be I suppose closer to family and cousins and the rest.
As I say to everybody, a lot of my clients are, not dissimilar to yourself. You get to a point where you've got kids and you want them to be educated in Ireland. And, as I was away for a couple of years myself and came back also to get my own kids into secondary school. And I remember sitting out in the Middle East going, well, there's no salmon and knowledge here. We're going home.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the salmon and knowledge,
Yes. Yeah. Good saying. I like that.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it? Yeah. So, your role, community engagement manager, is it a new role?
It is, yeah, brand new. So I started last June, as I say. I worked together with the team in coming up with the community engagement strategy. And we've been busy delivering that for the last almost 12 months now. So
what does that actually mean? I suppose, so if I'm a lay person and I'm thinking about community engagement, and I'm thinking about a company like Glenveagh Homes, for example, and there's so many locations to deal with in terms of community engagement. I mean, this is the first thing that just pops into my mind. Every community is different and has, I assume, varying needs and wants. And how do you deliver? I mean, does the strategy vary from location to location?
Absolutely.
Or should I be saying community to community, actually? Because they're all new communities.
They're all new communities. And as we say in Glenveagh, we don't just build homes, we build lasting communities. And I suppose the strategy is built around that. As a team, we manage a number of initiatives, community initiatives, sponsorships, partnerships, whether it's with the local schools, the GA clubs, soccer academies, and really working with the local communities and residents to, see what their priorities are for the area and how we can help to support that in a very, in a meaningful way. So it benefits not just our own residents, but the wider community as well. As you say, it varies from, whether it's a smaller community or a larger community. We've really some really big communities across North Dublin. There'll be smaller ones in Kildare that we're currently delivering. So it really just depends on the needs.
And do you actually reach out to, like, your team? Do you physically reach out to GAA clubs and rugby clubs and soccer clubs and horse riding clubs and national schools and the whole lot, and say, how can we help, or what do you need, or this is what we'd like to do, this is how we'd like to be involved? And I suppose
absolutely.
You're working with a budget for all of that.
Correct, yeah. So I suppose the first step is, we do our research in the area, what's required. We will speak to key stakeholders and partners in the area as well, look at their priorities, and then go from there, really. And exactly as you say, picking up the phone, dropping an email to whether it's the local GAA club or cycling club or the park run. How can we help? And what can we do together? So it's very much a collaboration.
Okay, I think it's amazing. Now, don't be offended if I say this. I'm not. Don't mean to be one bit offensive, but to my mind, it's actually, in a funny way, it's very much a sales role, and I'm in sales, right? I've been in sales all my life because I don't, I can't invoice unless I make a sale. But it's about all of those relationships, and it's about developing and furthering relationships all of the time, and reputations and trust. And all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as in the construction industry now, we're a far cry away from what it was years back, where you'd throw a check at a community and build and run. It's about working together collaboratively and listening to the community and seeing what their needs are, really. We've done a number of initiatives. We've recently restarted our planting days, which has been really good fun. We've been out and about with local residents and getting the kids out planting on Saturday mornings and bringing along a coffee truck and getting to know the residents, which has been really good and really well received as well. We've also hosted larger events like community days, which has been super, having activities for the kids and face painting and entertainment and all of that. And again, just getting that feedback from residents, seeing what they want to do, and how we can help improve the community as well, and in a meaningful
critical.
way.
It's absolutely critical. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I haven't been personally involved in new home developments whereby I've lived there myself. But I can see, that it's absolutely critical to just bring people together to create all the other good stuff that can happen once they know each other outside of all of that. Why was it so important that this role was created and that a team was created for this? I suppose the reason I'm asking is because there's no such thing as an original idea, really. Somebody else was doing it somewhere, whether it was in Canada or Australia or the UK or wherever. Yeah. Why did Glenvay feel, do you think, this is actually vital for us and this will, put our flag to the mast?
Yeah, I suppose it supports our core business principles of being innovative, and that kind of quality message as well, and accessible, that it's not just a builder that creates a development and then moves on to the next one. It's just about looking at things differently, which we're all about at Glenvay, and just getting that feedback and insight from the local communities as well to see what we can do differently and how we can impact in a meaningful way. And we've had some really, great examples of brilliant initiatives that might cost a huge pile that have made a big impact. One example is in Athgarvan GA, which is just next to our Beelan Woods development there in Newbridge. Small little club. We've been involved with the Gaelic for Girls partnership with the LGFA, which we sponsor. They'd got involved. That had very little female participation in the sports club. There was so many had turned up now. I think it did help that it was in COVID times and people were looking for things to do.
Absolutely.
Get out. Exactly. Yeah. They got so many girls turning up at the Gaelic for Girls. They ended up coming up with a brand new team, and they were looking for jersey sponsorship in order to compete locally. Yeah. So we helped out and got some jersey sponsorship and sorted the jerseys for the girls. And it's just gone from strength to strength. I've got so many phone calls locally saying this has been brilliant. We see the girls back in the club. Their parents are now volunteering and coaching the local team, and and their mums would have been probably part of the club years ago, but had dropped out. So it's been fantastic to see.
Yeah, it is brilliant, and I can see now. As you're painting a brilliant picture about what you guys are actually doing, what you're actually achieving, more to the point. But back to what you said there about the olden days, for want of a better word, where a new development was built and it was like, see us, good luck, get on with it, enjoy. Yeah. And, and equally, there may well have been very few facilities and amenities around to service those new developments, and going back a long time, 30, possibly 40 years, something like that. But I love the idea that the community engagement means immersing a new community with an existing community. And that's the only way you're going to do it, really, isn't it? Is by actually you guys being really active and ensuring that people get immersed into clubs and facilities, and within the school environment as well.
Absolutely. And we've seen great examples of that, particularly around our community days where, we have neighbours meeting for the first time, they swap numbers, you find that there's a WhatsApp group then pops up. I know there's a development in Kildare where they have a buggy walk with new mums around the estate every Monday morning, which is a lifesaver. I remember times, when I had newborn kids, I would have loved that type of activity, to take place every week where I lived. So you find, as you say, these things just evolve naturally then, and it helps in, I suppose, instilling that sense of place in people as well once they move in, So yeah, it's something as simple as a Planting Their Community Day can help achieve that.
Yeah, completely. Where did the idea come from, by the way, Annette? Sorry, I'm just really curious. Like, who thought, look, we need to instill this in our business?
Yeah, so as I say, we're innovative in our approach anyway. But when we did a lot of the research around developing a strategy for this, we looked overseas. It's been done a lot of the time in the US. A lot of the home builders in the UK have they'd be further along
Yeah.
that journey in terms of community engagement as well. So I suppose that would have given us a lot of inspiration. But being Ireland, again, we've tried to do things a little bit differently, and as I say, it's just worked really well so far.
And then I'm assuming, I mean, I can imagine that it has, but I'm sure that everybody that you reach out to has the reaction generally been very positive? Are people receptive, or have you got the odd little tale where somebody said, no, we're not interested? Look.
Yeah, I mean, generally very receptive. You have to be a little bit more careful around some of our engagement with maybe schools and that. There's been, sometimes they can be a little bit more cautious. I think more so because they've probably been burnt in the past by similar whether it's activations or whatever else, or promises, or that haven't come to fruition. But in the main, it's been really, really positive. Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And how many communities or how many community engagements would you be currently involved in?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've probably 14 or 15 live developments that we'll be actively working on. There's a lot more in the pipeline. We've big ambitions as a business. So yeah, we're a busy lot, put it that way. Our activations are based on 6 key pillars. So everything we do is either under the pillar of education, sports and fitness, health and well-being, local economy, sustainability, or charity. And we've worked really closely with our charity partners as well. We've some fabulous charity partners that
Amazing. And when you say activation, sorry, what do you mean by that?
So anything, any activity really, any initiative. So for an example, with schools, we work very closely with schools partner Biodiversity in Schools, who deliver biodiversity workshops sponsored by us in local schools. And it's really an opportunity for the children to get out and about in their outdoor space in schools and learn about all the different seasons and biodiversity. And a lot of them have vegetable patches now and all that type of thing. So it's lovely getting involved in that type of work with the schools.
And do you actually yourself, do you physically have to go out and visit your 14 locations on an ongoing basis?
So we would have a rolling program of visits, as you say,
the roster.
And we try and get out and see as many schools and clubs as possible. And just build those relationships, really. Yeah,
that's brilliant. I was just going to say that it must be very satisfying to see, new communities coming together and becoming immersed, and then obviously flying the Glenvay flag, particularly the sponsorship. Do you think is it tricky to encourage companies or organizations to sponsor community events or community fundraisers, or do you think that generally speaking, they're up for it? They realize the value?
I think they do realize the value, absolutely. And I suppose from their own point of view, from a PR perspective, it helps as well. Particularly if there's photo opportunities and all of that all helps build their profile locally. And at the end of the day, we're bringing a new audience to areas as well. So we've done some really nice work with local businesses. With a recent pilot scheme whereby we did a shop local voucher scheme. And we approached a number of businesses. Yeah, vouchers are great, aren't they?
Love them.
Any bit of a discount.
Yeah.
So we had everything from like 10, 20% off local businesses, and we put together a pack. So new homeowners received that pack on arrival in their little welcome box with their bottle of wine, and they could nip down to the local takeaway and get 10% off.
Stop.
So
love that.
That's been really well received. And again, it's gone back to that. You know what? I feel at home now because I know where the local chippy is and I'm getting my discount, and it all feels very homey and comfortable. And it's a win-win for the businesses as well, because they, that's a new audience for them, isn't it? And it's a new market.
Oh no, listen, completely. I mean, it's back to forging relationships.
Yeah.
And they're long-term relationships, those new clients, whether it's to the takeaway or down for your bottle of wine or the chippy, as you say.
Yeah.
Like, all of those relationships are absolutely massively important. I'm really loving all of these, community engagement ideas. I really think it's brilliant. But if I was potentially a new Glenveagh homeowner, which you never know, I might be someday, you just never know, where would I go to find out about all this? Is there a portal that I can jump onto, or is it the traditional method of putting flyers through the door? How do people connect?
Variety of ways, really. We have our website, glenveagh.ie, and on there there's a whole community section about all the work that we do. And there's a community email, people can get in touch. And there's also, actually just under development, are brand new hubs for each development that people will be able to log on to and pick up information on whether it's the discount, the shop local discount that I mentioned, updates on construction, and obviously community partnerships as well. So yeah, it's all there really, mostly in the digital form.
So once you're a Glenveagh homeowner, you're in. Absolutely. You can hop onto the website, log in and find out what's going on. Where can I get my less expensive wine? We won't say cheap, less expensive wine or less expensive chips.
Yes.
And God, that's brilliant. It's so smart. God, it's just the way everything is moving forward.
Yes.
And we touched on there just about COVID and kind of coming back to the whole COVID environment again, because it seemed like a month ago, nearly every second person had COVID, and that seems to have dispersed somewhat. And we're not talking about it so much anymore, and people are slowly getting back into the workplace. But I was just thinking that still very much in the news, that the hybrid way of working is what, most professionals, most working people like most. They like that mix of work and home. Do you think in the future with new developments that there might be, a kind of a WeWork environment where you would leave your house, still be on site technically, but be able to go to a work hub to work away from home, but actually you're just you could walk home for your lunch and then back to your work hub?
Yeah, how great an idea is that? You know what, we're researching all the time, and we're getting feedback from, whether it's new residents on their homes, what would they like different, and we work with external agencies as well to gauge all of that. We have a new development in Hollystown upcoming in Dublin, and a lot of that kind of new innovative thinking around planning has gone into that. So yeah, it's a matter of watch this space really, and our planning team, as I say, are always looking at new ideas and how we can make things different, make things easier. There is more of a demand for that communal space as well, whether it's outdoors or and is that what feedback is giving you? Is that what research is telling you, that there's more demand for communal spaces?
Absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. And obviously the office space as well in the home. So vital. Absolutely, yeah.
And is that integral now to new builds? I mean,
so it will be in the future, I think. Yeah,
sure.
At the moment, we don't have it on our current sites, but yeah, it's one for the future, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I can see it all practically 3D in my head, all happening, and it is brilliant because if we go back to John B. Keane and the field, honest to God, the Irish, they just wouldn't part with their patch of grass or go on to anybody else's turf or do anything like that. And we always wanted to be out in our back gardens with nobody looking at us. And it would seem now that community and engagement, are so much more important. And in fact, we're probably becoming a little bit more like our European cousins because they use communal spaces brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and they use the parklands, and they, you know, they congregate as community. Now, I mean, they have better city parks, I think, than we do to congregate in, but they do live very well in apartments, whereas we love our houses to lock ourselves up in. But it's brilliant to hear that community spaces are becoming more of a demand, and that the opportunity to potentially work within your community in a sort of a WeWork hub space is absolutely a possibility down the road. It's a no-brainer for me. You know, I can see that happening. That'll be the next job for the planners, Annette, won't it?
That's it. Keep them busy.
That'll be the next job for the planners for sure. Yeah. Let me see. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I mean, we could go on and on and on, because it's really about new young communities and young children, you know, and them remaining in those communities and then immersing the next generation who comes along. Annette McGarry, Community Engagement Manager with Glenveagh Homes. Thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Liz.
Live with local comforts. Love community over commuting. Live in a home built by Glenvay. Love where you live. Glenvay, home of the new.